सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयः यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Yes. Bhagavan took the avatar of Narasimha. For what? So here it is said, Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashyam bhashitam. To make the words of his devotees come true. So who are those devotees? Who are the devotees whose words Bhagavan wanted to make it true? Number one, Sanakadi Rishis. Number two, Naradji. He also had told Indra that this boy is what you call very powerful. Number three, Hiranyakashipu. He had told Prahlada, let Bhagavan protect you. Isn't it? Gopayet, may Bhagavan protect you. So his word also has to be made true. Number four, his own words. What did he say? Name bhaktaha pranashyati. Number five, Brahmaji's words. He had given the boon that you will not be killed by all this. So he has to take care of all these devotees, whatever they have said, and accordingly he had to take a form. So therefore it is said, Satyam vidhatum nija bhritya bhashitam. Yes. So therefore, so yesterday we had seen Prahladji falls at the feet of the Lord. No one dared to go anywhere near Bhagavan in his wrathful mood. So ultimately everyone persuades Prahlada to go near. Prahlada falls at the feet of the Lord. And then Bhagavan, the moment his eyes falls on Prahlada, his heart melts. He must have thought of all the tortures which this boy had undergone silently, without grumbling, without complaining, all in the name of Lord. So the moment his eyes fell on that boy who had gone through so much of sufferings, Bhagwan's heart melted. He lifted the boy and placed his lotus hand, the most auspicious hand, upon the head of Prahlad. And when Bhagwan's hand landed on his head, all that little vasanas, the residual vasanas, whatever was remaining, everything was washed off in that upsurge of devotion. The heart was absolutely purified. भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथि छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे. All the hridaya granthis were broken. Heart was purified. And in that purified heart, where did Prahlada see Bhagavan? In his own heart. He was residing there. So the real Bhagavan is residing in the heart. The outer form is only an inferior form. Saguna aspect of Bhagavan is inferior. Nirguna aspect is the highest. So this realization dawns upon Prahlad. And looking at that Bhagavan, holding on to the lotus feet of Bhagavan and holding on to his own chest, with tears in eyes, with horripilation, with voice choked with emotion, Prahlada now does the stuti of Bhagavan. How does the stuti go? Brahmadayas suragana munayotha siddhaha sattvaikatanamatayo vachasam pravahaihi naradhitum purugunairadhunapi pipruhu kim toshtumarhati same harirugrajate. Bhagavan, I am the most unqualified person to do stuti of yours. Even Brahmaji and all the devatas who are by birth sattvic, even they could not glorify you completely. How can this fellow who has been born in an asura vamsha, born in an asuric womb, in a tamasic and rajasic womb, how can I glorify you, Bhagavan? I am the most incapable person. But even then, I will glorify you. Why will I glorify you? Because anyone who glorifies you becomes purified. For my own purification of heart, though my glorification is of nowhere compared to the standards of the great ones, I am most unqualified, but even then I will glorify you for my own purification of mind. Tasmadaham vigata viplava ishwarasya sarvatmana mahi grunami yatha manisham, according to my ability. Vigata viplava, without any kind of hesitation, without any kind of inhibition, without any kind of shame, I am going to glorify you in my own way, even though it may be like a croaking of a frog, doesn't matter. Because the one who glorifies you becomes purified. How? An example is given. Pratimukhasya yatha mukashrihi. Bhagavan, you don't need any of the praises of the devotees because you are nijalabha purnaha. You are fulfilled in yourself. You are perfect in yourself. You don't need any prayer from the devotees. But the one who prays unto you, he becomes purified. How? The devotee is benefited by praying unto you. How? Pratimukhasya yatha mukhashri. Whatever makeup I do on my face, where is it seen? It is seen on the reflection, isn't it? So the Lord is this face and the reflection is the Jiva. This is Paramatma, this is Jivatma. So whatever you do to Paramatma goes to Jivatma. So when a Jiva worships the Lord, ultimately who is benefited? Jiva himself is benefited. The makeup is done to the Paramatma, the real face. But where does that makeup, the glory go? It goes to the Jivatma. So therefore, without any hesitation or inhibition, I am doing this stuti. Bhagavan, now one request. Please cool down. All your anger, etc., is of no use. तद्यच्छ मन्युमसुरश्च हतस्त्वयाद्य मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निर्वृतिमिताः प्रतीयन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जना स्मरन्ति. Bhagavan, control your anger now. Cool down. Because your enemy, the Asura, is dead. Asura is dead. The purpose for which you have invoked this anger, that purpose is served. Now whoever is remaining here, they are all your devotees, ever ready to serve you, ever ready to do anything at your bidding. So whoever is here, they don't deserve this anger, Bhagavan. They are here to serve you, and they are just waiting for your anger to abate. So Bhagavan, please cool down. But Bhagavan, one thing, I am not scared of this form at all. Let me be very clear to you. Naham bhibhemya jitateti bhayanakasya jihvarkanetra bhrukutir abhasogradam strat antrasrajakshata kesara shankukarna nirhada bhita dikibhadari bhinna khagrat. Naham bhibhemi. I am not scared, Bhagavan, of this terrible form of yours. Others may be scared, but I am not scared. What kind of face? Bhayanakasya, your terrific form. Your quivering sword-like tongue. Your quivering eyebrows. Your terrible fangs. And those intestinal garlands. And your blood-stained manes. Your sharp straight ears, your roar. I am not scared. Why I am not scared? I am not scared because this is a mask behind which my most beloved Bhagavan is there. I know who you are. You are my Lord of heart. So in front of a child, if the father or the mother comes with a mask, with a terrible Rakshasic mask, will the child be scared? Yeah, if you don't know who is behind, then you will be scared. But when the child comes to know, oh, it is my father only, he will climb on the back of the father, isn't it? Without any fear. So Bhagavan, I am not scared of this form. But Bhagavan, I am scared of one thing of yours. What is that? Trastosmyaham kripanavatsala dussahogra samsara chakra kadanad grasatam pranitah बद्धस्वकर्मभिरुषत्तमतेङ्घ्रिमूलम् प्रीतोपवर्गशरणं ह्वयसे कदानु. I'm scared of one thing, Bhagavan. What is that? I'm scared of your samsara. That I'm very much scared. Dussaha ugra samsara chakra kadana trastaha asmi aham. The amount of suffering people go through in this samsara created by you, which is unbearable. Yes, I am scared of this samsara. In fact, I myself am suffering because of my own past bad karmas. I have been born into these asuric wombs in the midst of the sensuous people. Baddha swakarma bihi. Bhagavan, I am not blaming you. It is my own actions which has brought me into this condition. Grasatam, I am suffering, Bhagavan. So this samsara is terrible. In this samsara, priya viyoga sayoga janma shokagnina sakalayonishu dakhyamanaha. Everyone is being scorched in this fire of sorrow, in this fire of sorrow born of what you call dualities, joys and sorrows, birth and death, union and separation. All these dualities, they are nothing but sorrows. And yes, everyone is suffering in this world. And the worst part is dukkhaushadam tadapi dukkham. In this samsara, whatever you think as an aushadhi for dukkham, that also turns as dukkham only. The medicine for sorrow itself becomes another cause of sorrow. Bhagavan, atadhiya aham brahmami. I am wandering in this samsara of yours with atadhiya. Atadhiya means what? Tat dhiya means mind in him. Tat. Atadhiya means mind other than you, everywhere the mind is going. Except you, Bhagwan, mind is roaming around everywhere. That is the samsara of yours. It is so tempting that the mind doesn't go towards you. Why? Because you are not clearly visible as the sense object, as the sense pleasures. You are invisible. So therefore, the mind gets attracted to these petty paltry pleasures of the world, which is so easily available. Kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushan apavrunu satya dharmaya drishtaye. Bhagwan, the truth is covered with a golden lid. And the golden lid is so beautiful, so attractive that I forget that I have come for the truth. I get carried away by the golden lid and come back. This golden lid, what is this golden lid? All worldly pleasures, everything is golden lid only. Bhagavan, atadhiya aham brahmami. I am wandering in this world. In this world where every solution for dukkham gets converted into dukkham only.
Kutrashisha shruti sukha mrigatrishni rupaha kvedam kalevaramashesha rujam viroha nirvidyate natu jano yadapiti vidwan kamanalam madhulavai shamayan durapaihi.
Prahlada, why do you call that dukkhaushadam is another dukkham? Bhagwan, look at these sense pleasures of yours. Shruti sukhaha. By listen to these pleasures of the world, it is so enchanting. But what is it? It is of the nature of mriga trishni rupaha. It is like mirage waters. So in the desert, that person who is so thirsty, he sees waters far away. So he thinks maybe some water resource is there and he runs. And in the process, he becomes more thirsty. But he has a hope that yes, I will someday or the other will be able to quench my thirst with these waters. But actually, what are they? They are not waters at all. They are mere illusion. So this ephemeral body, this body filled with diseases, that body is trying to quench its thirst by running after mirage-like pleasures. Kamanalam madhulavai shamayan durapaihi. So there is this fire of desires burning, and I am trying to quench this fire of desires with drops of ghee, clarified butter. Will it be ever quenched? You are trying to quench the fire with ghee. Will it be ever quenched? No. You think it can be quenched, and durapaihi madhulavaihi. With great difficulty you are bringing this ghee. Ghee will not be available so easily. So with lot of effort, lot of struggle, you are collecting ghee and trying to quench this fire. Instead, what is happening to the fire? Kamanalam, it is just burning. Dushpurena analena. The fire is blazing forth higher and higher. So Bhagwan, this is the kind of pleasures you have created in this world. Dukkhaushadam tadapi dukkham. Not only that, your thirst is not quenched, the thirst increases with greater and greater indulgence. Bhagwan, shall I tell you what kind of pleasures you have created?
Yan maithunadi grihamedi sukham hitucham kanduyanena karayoriva dukkha dukkham trupyanti neha kripana bahu dukkha bhajah kandutivan manasijam vishaheta dhiraha. Your pleasures created in your samsara is like ringworm. You scratch and there is a joy. And you feel that this joy is permanent. And you keep on scratching. And with every scratching, what is happening? Some kind of liquid comes out and it spreads and ultimately ends up in pain. Bhagwan, this is the kind of pleasures this samsara has. For that initial little joy,
You go after it, you get tempted, but in the end, it is nothing but dukkha dukkham. It is only sorrow. Bhagavan, this is the kind of pleasures you have created. Now just imagine Bhagavan with such a mind. How can a person think of you?
नैतन्मनस्तव कथासु विकुण्ठनाथ सम्प्रीयते दुरितदोष्टमसाधु तीव्रम् कामातुरं हर्षशोकभयैषणार्तं तस्मिन् कथं तव गतिं विमृशामि दीनः.
Bhagavan, you say that the jiva should focus their mind upon me. Do you ever know how difficult it is? With a mind which is impurified because of its evil tendencies, the mind which is extrovert, the mind which is uncontrollable, indisciplined, the mind which is harassed, kamaturam, harassed by various kinds of desires, the mind which is tossed up and down by harsha shoka, by joys and sorrows, the mind which is tormented by eshanartam, eshanatrayam, what are they? Putreshana, vitteshana, lokeshana. The mind which is harassed by the desire for wealth, by the desire for progeny, by the desire for name and fame. Bhagavan, how can you expect such a person who has been harassed, who has been tormented by these worldly temptations, how can you expect him to fix his mind upon you? It is an injustice from your side.
जिह्वैकतोच्युत विकर्षति मा व्यतृप्ता शिष्णोऽन्यतस्त्वगुदरं श्रवणं कुतश्चित् घ्राणोऽन्यतश्चपलदृक् क्व च कर्मशक्तिः बह्वः सपत्न्य इव गेहपतिं लुनन्ति.
Bhagavan, do you know the condition of the jivas here? From one direction the tongue is pulling him. From another direction, his genitals are pulling him. From another direction, his stomach is pulling him. In another direction, his ears are pulling him. In some other direction, his tongue, his nose is pulling him. And his fickle eyes tempt him in another direction. Look at the condition, Bhagavan. Each of his indriyas, whether it is karmendriya or jnanendriya, he is being pulled in different directions. You know his condition? His condition is like that of a man who has married many wives. And all these wives are pulling him in their own quarters. How can such a person ever fix his mind upon you? Bhagavan, but I am not scared of your samsara. Whatever I have told is about the people. I am not scared. Prahlada, why is it that you are not scared? Bhagavan, because I have taken total refuge unto the lotus feet of your devotees. I have taken refuge unto your beautiful leelas. I just chant your name, fix my mind unto you. I am not even aware that your samsara exists. So as far as I am concerned, I am not praying for myself. I am perfectly safe under the lotus feet of your devotees. In satsang, I am totally safe. Your grace is always upon me. So your grace is always protecting me, Bhagavan. I don't need your compassion. I don't need your compassion. Bhagavan, with your grace, I have understood this great truth of life. What is the truth of life?
दृष्टा मया दिवि विभोऽखिलदिष्ण्यपानाम् आयुश्रियो विभव एच्छति याञ्जनोऽयम् येऽस्मत्पितुः कुपितः स विजृम्भितभ्रूः विस्फूर्जितेन लुलिता स तु ते निरस्तः.
Bhagavan, by your grace, you have shown me how impermanent this world is. People are craving for name, fame, power, position, wealth, etc. But by your grace, you have shown me the truth that these are all ephemeral and useless. How did you show me? Bhagavan, I have seen in front of my father, who was the emperor of the three worlds, how these guardian deities used to roll at his feet, fall at his feet. Though they were so powerful, so influential, so rich, how even those guardian deities used to fall at the feet of my father at his mere look, at his mere ridicule, at his mere frown, at his mere roar, they used to fall at his feet. That was the power he commanded over the whole world. So I saw how the guardian deities lost everything at the feet of my father, and I also saw how my father lost everything at the feet of you. So therefore, your feet is the ultimate refuge. Bhagavan, thank you very much for showing me that the whole world is pithless, essenceless. But Bhagavan, it is only because of your grace that I gained this knowledge.
क्वाहं रजः प्रभव ईशतमोऽधिकेऽस्मिन् जातः सुरेतरकुले क्व तवानुकम्पा न ब्रह्मणो न तु भवस्य न वैरमाया यन्मेऽर्पितः शिरसि पद्मकरः प्रसादः.
Bhagavan, where am I? Born in an Asura Kula, born in the Rajasic and Tamasic womb, most ineligible to gain your grace. And Bhagavan, where are you? The Supreme Being. And Bhagavan, how gracious you have been in keeping your lotus hand upon this foolish fellow's head. That fortune which even Shiva did not get, that fortune which even Brahmaji has not got, that fortune which even Sri Lakshmi did not get, Bhagavan, you put that lotus hand upon this useless fellow's head. Bhagavan, it only proves one thing, that in your eyes there is no one higher and lower.
नैषा परावरमतिर्भवतो ननु स्यात् जन्तोर्यथात्मसुहृदो जगतस्तथापि संसेवया सुरतरोरिव ते प्रसादः सेवानुरूपमुदयो न परावरत्वम्.
It only proves, Bhagavan, that in your eyes all are equal. But yes, those people who worship you, who always take refuge unto your feet, Bhagavan, your grace descends upon them. Samsevaya Surataro te prasadaha. Your grace is like that Surataru. What is Surataru? Kalpavriksha. Your grace descends upon only those people who totally take refuge unto your feet. This is what it proves. Our Gurudev also used to say, Bhagavan's grace is upon all of them. It is like sunlight. Sunlight is ever ready to enter your room. But who has to decide whether the sunlight has to enter your room or not? We have to decide. How will we decide? By opening the windows and the doors. But suppose we keep it closed, can we blame the sunlight that it is not entering my room? No. Sunlight is ever waiting to enter. It is we who have to open the windows. In the same way, Bhagavan's grace is ever there with us. Bhagavan Shankaracharya also gives this example. So here is this winter night and people are shivering out of cold. And there is this fire lit. Fireplace is there. Whoever goes near fireplace, they are benefited. Those who don't go near fireplace, they shiver, isn't it? So can you blame the fireplace that you are partial? To some alone you give your warmth, others are suffering. You cannot, isn't it? Whoever goes near the fireplace, they are benefited. In the same way, Bhagavan, whoever serves you in all humility, with all surrender, they are blessed by your grace. But Bhagavan, this grace of yours I received only because I was in satsang.
एवं जनम निपतितं प्रभवाहि कूपे कामाभिकाममनुयः प्रपतन् प्रसंगात् कृत्वात्मसात् सुरर्षिणा भगवन् गृहीतः सोऽहं कथं नु विसृजे तव भृत्य सेवाम्.
Bhagavan, you know my condition. I was fallen in a well filled with poisonous snakes, a dry well, and I was helpless, miserable. Hmm. That was the kind of situation I was born. But Bhagwan, it was only Naradji who pulled me out. I was born in the midst of sensuous people. Kama bhikamam anuyaf prapatan prasangat. With the association of the sensuous wicked people, I was fallen, I was helpless. It was Naradji who pulled me out and made me his own. Kritva atmasat. So Bhagavan, it was this association with the holy company which has saved me. Therefore, I will never leave the company of the devotees. Saha aham katham nu visraje tava bhritya sevam. I will never stop the service of the devotees. So as far as I am concerned, Bhagavan, I am perfectly safe from your samsara. I have no fear at all. But Bhagavan, I am not praying for me. I am praying for those who have not yet turned their attention towards you, and therefore they are suffering so much in this world. How are they suffering in this world?
Evam swakarma patitam bhavavaitaranyam अन्योन्य जन्म मरणाशन भीत भीतम पश्यञ्जनं स्वपर विग्रह वैरमित्रं हन्तेति पारचरपि प्रुहि मूढमद्य.
Bhagavan, people are like they are drowning in this Vaitarani of samsara. What is Vaitarani? It's a river flowing in hell with all kinds of filth and dirt. And it is said that whoever does papa karma here, they have to drown in this Vaitarani. So Bhagavan, there is a Vaitarani flowing in this world also, and everyone is drowning here. How are they drowning? Anyonya janma maranashana bhita bhitam. Every moment they are living in fear. The fear of death. Fear of loss of property, their possessions, their position. Every moment they are living in fear. And not only that, even that little existence is filled with competition, with jealousy, with anger, with greed. Bhagavan, everyone, every jiva is suffering in this world. Pashyanjanam swapara vigraha vairamaitram. And what is the source of this suffering? The source of this suffering is the vision of plurality. They are not able to see the oneness. They are all not able to see that self residing in all. They are only seeing the differences. And because of this ignorance, because of this ignorance, they are suffering moment to moment. Oh Bhagavan, how can you be so cruel? Standing on the bank of this river Vaitarani, you are just watching this show. How can you be so heartless? Hanta iti parachara pipruhi mudham adya. Save them. Don't just be a, onlooker, standing on the bank of the river. Now remember, these are verses which has to be analyzed through your heart, not your intellect. Why? Now here, Prahlada is blaming Bhagavan. That is only because of his intense compassion. That has to be understood. Here logic should not be used. Logic we will see later. Okay? Bhagavan cannot be blamed. We will see that point later. Now what does Prahlada say? Bhagavan, how can you stand on the bank of this river and watch this show?
कोन्वत्र तेऽखिल गुरो भगवन् प्रयासः उत्तारणेस्य भवसम्भवलोपहेतोः मूढेषु वै महदनुग्रह आर्तबन्धो किं तेन ते प्रियजनाननुसेविताम्नः.
Bhagavan, is it so difficult for you to pull out all these jivas out of this river? Agreed that they have not turned to you. But Bhagavan, you are called as Karuna Sagara. What is Karuna Sagara? Ocean of compassion. Bhagavan, showing your compassion only to those devotees who have taken refuge at your feet. That is not real compassion. That is very easy. Just to show compassion only towards those devotees who have surrendered unto you. But Bhagwan, real compassion is that you should help people come out of this samsar though they have not turned unto you. That is the real compassion. Soche tato vimukhache tasa indriyartham Maya sukhaya bharam udvahato vimudhan. Bhagavan, my heart is weeping for those people who have turned their face away from you and who have turned towards this Maya sukha, the illusory pleasures of the world, and how much suffering they undergo. Bharam udvahataha. They are carrying the huge weight of samsar on their head, full of worries and fears and anxieties. Such foolish people, Bhagavan, your grace should fall upon them. You should pull them out. Bhagavan, it is not difficult for you. Why? Because you are the one who has created this universe. You are the one who is maintaining this infinite universe. So Bhagavan, the one who can create this infinite universe, is it difficult for you to pull out these jivas suffering in the river of samsara? It should not be difficult. So Bhagavan, you should help these jivas come out. Bhagavan, as far as the saintly people are concerned, they are also selfish. How are they selfish?
Prayena deva munayasva vimukti kamaha maunam charanti vijanena parartha nishtha naitan vihayak pranan vimumuksha eko nanyam twadasya sharanam brahmato nupashye.
Bhagavan, even the so-called saints and sages, you know what they do? They go into the deep forest and they remain in solitude and they remain in maunam. Now what to do? So they are only worried about their own realization. They are not worried about the people. So they are all swarthis, selfish people. So Bhagavan, but I cannot leave these people and seek my own moksha. So therefore Bhagavan, if you want to give me moksha, ensure that all these fellows, whoever is there in this world, they are first liberated. Liberate them first. I will come later. So this you have to understand, this is the prayer from the heart. So what you have to understand is the amount of compassion Prahlada has for the suffering humanity. Here you should not use logic. In fact, there is a story. Now the question is, now Prahlada is saying, Bhagavan, how can you be so cruel-hearted? Now what is your answer? Don't you feel that it is true? If you think, it appears it is true. His logic is, Bhagavan, if you are really ocean of compassion, your compassion should descend even upon those who don't turn towards you. Isn't it? And it appears very logical. Now what is the answer? The answer is very simple. In fact, there is a story also. I don't know whether it is in some Purana or not. When Prahlada was saying like this, Bhagavan said, okay Prahlada, whoever wants to come with you, they are allowed. Prahlada was very happy. And then he went and then he saw one pig playing in the filth with all the piglets. Then he immediately went to the pig and said, come. Bhagavan is waiting there. We are all going to Vaikuntha. Then pig looked at him. Where? Vaikuntha. Why? It is a place of infinite joy, peace, bliss, etc. No birth, no death. Then he said, in Vaikuntha, is there this filth, etc. available? No, filth and all will not be there. It's a very clean place. Okay, can I play with my little kiddus? No. All those things are no. Then go away with your Vaikuntha. It is said that the pig didn't. So this is the thing. What is the thing? See, Prahlada is feeling because his mind is so pure. See, whenever heart is pure, even a little pain appears to be magnified. Worldly pain can be experienced as pain only in a pure heart. In an impure heart, even the worldly pain appear to be very joy-giving. Like that kanduka, ringworm. The initial pleasures, if your mind is impure, you are tempted only by the initial pleasures. You don't have the sensitivity to know the ultimate permanent pains. You are seeing only the superficial pleasures and you get tempted. The deep underlying pain can be seen only by a purified mind, only by a sensitive mind. That is why Prahlada is feeling so much about the sufferings of the world, whereas we don't find it a suffering at all. We try to settle here, comfortably, happily. So therefore, what is the answer? The answer is no one wants Bhagavan. It is not that Bhagavan doesn't want to give him. The fact is, no one wants Bhagavan. As Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's example, the child is busy playing with the toys. The child doesn't want mother at all. Mother is ever ready. But when that child cries, when he is fed up with all the toys, when he is hungry, the child gives an intense cry and then definitely the mother comes from the kitchen. Isn't it? So Prahlada is also right from his standpoint. His compassionate heart is praying for all, but at the same time you cannot blame Bhagavan also. This has to be understood. So what is ultimately we have to understand is, see the purity of this child. He's saying, I don't want moksha, Bhagavan. You put me into hell, no problem. Holding on to your feet, I can survive. But what about these people who are suffering? This is one of the greatest virtues which a spiritual teacher must have. A spiritual teacher might be realized, but if he doesn't have compassion for the suffering humanity, he cannot be a true teacher. In that case, our Puja Gurudev is an example. In spite of attaining realization, he could have comfortably stayed in the Himalayas, but he came down. Why did he come down? That heart which cannot see the suffering of others, cannot stay in a place comfortably. It just pulls him down, isn't it? That's what Ganga Mata told him. Oh my dear child, I am flowing down for the welfare of all. Why don't you also give your knowledge? Because so many people are suffering there. So one of the greatest qualification a spiritual teacher must have is a heart filled with compassion. So definitely Prahlada is the best among spiritual teachers, you can say. Now Prahlada says, Bhagavan, in this world, even the very spiritual sadhana itself can be binding. If a person is trying to free himself from the clutches of samsara, that very sadhana which he performs in order to free himself, that itself can be dangerous. How?
Maunavrata shruta tapodhyayana swadharma व्याख्यारहो जपसमाधय आप्यवर्ग्याः प्रायः परं पुरुषते त्वजितेन्द्रियाणां वार्ता भवन्त्युतनवात्र तु दम्भिकानाम्.
What are the spiritual disciplines possible? Mauna. Mauna means practicing silence. Vrata, the spiritual vow. Shruta, studying of the scriptures. Tapa, practicing austerities. Adhyayana also, trying to understand the meaning of the scripture. Swadharma, performing your actions, your duties, steadfast. Vyakhya, listening to the commentaries of the scriptures. Ahaha, remaining in solitude. Japa, doing japa. Samadhi, they are all, Bhagavan, the means to liberation. But the tragedy is, even the very same sadhana can become a booster of one's ego. That holier than thou attitude comes when a person does all this. Yeah, I am doing so much of thing. I am getting up early at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Now the very getting up adds to his ego. The very studying of the scripture adds to his ego. So instead, what is happening? Is he progressing in spirituality or is he digressing? He is coming down. He is devolving. He doesn't know that in the process of spiritual sadhana, in the name of spiritual sadhana, he is being bound by his own ego. So Bhagavan, what a world you have created. The very same sadhana becomes a cause for bondage. Varta bhavantyutanavatratu dambikanam. Only dambha, hypocrisy increases. So therefore, Bhagavan, the only solution is total humility and surrender. The one who practices this, he is safe. How to practice this humility and surrender?
तत्तेऽर्हतम नमस्तुति कर्म पूजाः कर्मस्मृतिश्चरणयो श्रवणं कथायां संसेवया त्वयि विनेति षडङ्गया किं भक्तिं जनः परमहंसगतौ लभेत.
That means to develop humility. That means to develop that attitude of surrender. Here, some of them are mentioned. Namaha, prostration unto the Lord. Stuti, glorifying the Lord. Karma puja, performing all actions as a worship of the Lord. Smritischaranayoho, remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. Shravanam kathayam, listening to the excellences of the Lord. All these makes a person humble, develops devotion unto Bhagavan's lotus feet. And thus saying, Prahalada winds up his stuti, saying, Bhagavan, I take total refuge unto your feet. The stuti comes to an end. And when Bhagavan listens to this stuti of Prahalada,
एतावद् वर्णितगुणः भक्त्या भक्तेन निर्गुणः प्रह्लादं प्रणतं प्रीतः यतमन्युरभाषत.
Prahlad ji, after glorifying the Lord, once again does namaskar to Bhagavan. And looking at this boy and listening to his stuti, what happened to Bhagavan? Yatamanyuhu, all that anger, whatever was there, totally freed from anger. Preetaha, he was so pleased with Prahalad. And then Bhagavan said, what did Bhagavan say?
प्रह्लाद भद्र भद्रं ते प्रीतोऽहं ते सुरोत्तम वरं वृणीष्वाभिमतं कामपूरोऽस्म्यहं नृणाम्.
Prahlada, oh virtuous boy, Bhadra, Bhadramte, may everything auspicious befall upon you. Preetoham, I am extremely pleased with you. Oh Asurottama, the best among the Asuras. Varam Vrinishwa, ask whatever you want. Abhimatam, whatever you want, I am ready to give you. Ask. Kama Purosmyaham Nranam, I am the one who is the fulfiller of all desires. Ask. All the great devotees, they please me and they gain everything in life. So therefore you also ask. Whatever you ask, I am ready to give you. I am so much pleased with you, oh my dear child. What did Prahlada do?
एवं प्रलोभ्यमानोऽपि वरैर्लोकप्रलोभनैः एकान्तित्वाद् भगवती नैच्छत्तानसुरोत्तमः.
This way Prahlada was tempted with the greatest temptation. Now there cannot be any other temptation. Bhagavan himself coming and saying, Prahlada, ask whatever you want, I am ready to give you. Varehi loka pralobhanehi, even the greatest devotees will shake, will become unsettled in front of this pralobhana. But what did Prahlada ask? Ekantitvat, because of its single pointed devotion, naichat tan asurotama, he did not ask anything. Then what did he do? Smayamana uvacha. He smiled. And what did he say? Prahlada uvacha.
मामां प्रलोभयोत्पत्त्यासक्तं कामेषु तैर्वरैः तत्सङ्गभीतो निर्विण्णः मुमुक्षुस्त्वामुपाश्रितः.
Bhagavan, please don't tempt me with your temptations. With your boon, please don't tempt me. Bhagavan, you know, I am born in an Asura Kula. I attached to all these pleasures of the world. So already I am there, and above and all you are tempting me. Bhagwan, please don't do it. Somehow with great difficulty I have got rid of these desires of the world. Please don't push me into this world again. But Bhagwan, I know you are not pushing me into this world. You are doing it for a purpose. And I know the purpose. What is the purpose?
भृत्यलक्षणजिज्ञासुः भक्तं कामेष्वचोदयत् भवान् संसारबीजेषु हृदयग्रन्थिषु प्रभो.
Bhagwan, you are tempting me to know whether I am your true devotee or not. Bhritya Lakshana Jitnyasuhu. Jitnyasu means the one who is tester, testing. What is he testing? Lakshana of a Bhritya. Is he a real devotee of mine? This way, Bhagavan, you are trying to tempt me. Because if I ask something, what does it mean? It will mean that I am not really loving you, I am really loving that. Bhagavan becomes only a means, the goal is something else. So therefore, Bhagavan, I have understood, you are testing me, but Bhagavan, I am not going to fall in your trap. This kama is samsara bija, it is hridaya granthi. This desire is the very seed of samsara, is the very knot of the heart which is preventing me from experiencing you. So therefore, Bhagavan, I know that you are testing me. I am not going to ask anything. But if you are so insistent that I must ask something, then okay, I will ask you. You know what?
यदिरासीसमे कामान् वरांस्त्वं वरदर्शभ कामानां हृद्य संरोहं भवतस्तु वृणो वरम्.
Bhagavan, suppose if I ask something, then it becomes a business. Our relationship is, you are the master, I am the servant. And who is a perfect master and who is a perfect servant? Perfect servant is the one who serves his master without expecting anything in return. A perfect master is the one who helps his servant without expecting any service. That is a perfect master, perfect servant. And Bhagavan, our relationship is a perfect master, perfect servant relationship. It is not a business relationship where the servant serves the master expecting that he will get something, and where the master keeps the servant expecting that he will be of some service to him. They are all business. But Bhagavan, our relationship is not like the king-servant relationship. Our relationship is pure. So, but Bhagavan, if you are insistent that I should ask something, then give me this boon. Which boon? Kamanam hridi samroham. Let all the desires vanish from my heart. This boon you give. What boon you should give me? You should give me such a boon that I will not ask a boon from you. Give me such a boon. Kamanam hridi samroham bhavatastu vrinevaram. I ask this boon from you, that I may not ask any boon from you. Why is it that you are so scared of this kama, this desire? Because Bhagavan, a very, very beautiful verse here.
इन्द्रियाणि मनः प्राणः आत्मा धर्मो धृतिर्मतिः ह्रीः श्रीस्तेजस्मृतिः सत्यं यस्य नश्यन्ति जन्मना.
Yasya janmana nashyanti. The moment desires sprout from the heart, that person loses everything. What all does he lose? Indriyani, the strength of the senses. Manaha, the strength of the mind. Pranaha, the strength of the vital energies. Atma, Atma here means body, the strength of the body. Dharmaha, the sense of righteousness. Dhritihi, fortitude, his determination. Matihi, his right understanding, his thinking ability.
Hrihi, his modesty. Shrihi, the prosperity, the wealth. Tejaha, his prowess, his abilities, his talents. Smritihi, the ability to remember, memory. Satyam, his adherence to truth. Yasya nashyanti janmana. The moment a person becomes a kami, a desirous person desiring something, he will lose all these things. So in fact, he is not gaining anything, he is only losing. So Bhagavan, this is the boon which I seek from you. Let not there be any vicious desire in my heart. Remember, whenever we say kama, it is always negative desires. We are not talking of good desires, like helping others and all that. Developing devotion for God, it is a good desire, it should be there. Desire for liberation, it's a good desire, it should be there. So whenever this kama term is used, what does it mean? It means all negative desires which will bind a person to samsara. This has to be understood. Yes. So therefore, Bhagwan, this is what I seek from you. May I be free from all desires. Vimunchati yada kaman manavo manasi sthitan tarhyeva pundarikaksha bhagavattvaya kalpate. A similar verse is there in Bhagavad Gita also. Vihaya kamanyas sarvan pumanscharati nispruhaha. Isn't it? In the same way here. Vimunchati yada kaman. The moment a person is able to get rid of all desires, manasi sthitan, in the mind, tarhyeva pundarikaksha bhagavattvaya kalpate. Then alone he becomes fit to become one with the Lord. So therefore, Bhagwan, I don't want anything from you. Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Purushaya Mahatmane Harayed Bhuta Simhaya Brahmane Paramatmane. So Bhagwan, prostration unto you, to that Supreme Lord, to the Supreme Self, who has come in the form of this wonderful form of man-lion, the remover of all sorrows, the Supreme Brahman. My prostration unto you. Okay. And then he stopped. What did Bhagavan say? So he has passed the test of Bhagavan. That was a test. Temptation was the test. He has passed the last stage also. So in spirituality, it is the crossing over of Anandamaya Kosha. That is the greatest temptation. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Last one is that fifth one, Anandamaya Kosha. This is very, very tempting. So this Prahlada overcomes. This is the spiritual meaning of this. Now what did Bhagavan do? Naikantino me mai jatvihashisha आशासते मुत्रचये भवद्विधाः अथापि मन्वन्तरमेतदत्र दैत्येश्वराणामनुभुङ्क्ष्व भोगान्. Bhagavan said, "Oh Prahlada, my child, I knew that you are not going to ask anything. Because the devotees like you, they don't want anything other than me. But even then, for my sake, I want to give you something. Not for you. You don't want anything, I know. But even then, for my sake, I want to give something. Because the whole world is watching. The worldly people will say, what is this? He was so, what you call, devoted to Bhagavan, and Bhagavan did not give him anything. So I want to prove to the world that my devotees will get everything. Material prosperity also, and spiritual welfare also. So in order to give this lesson to the world, I want you to become the Samrat, to occupy the position of your father. Asura Samrat you should become, and for this entire Manvantara, you must rule the kingdom. Going through all the worldly pleasures. Daiteshwaranam anubhungsha bhogan. All the pleasures and prosperity, the wealth, the richness, everything you
for my sake. I want you to go through. I want you to be the king. But how you should spend your time, that also I will tell you.
कथामदीया जुषमाणः प्रियास्त्वम् आवेश्य मामात्मनि सन्तमेकम् सर्वेषु भूतेष्वधियज्ञमीशम् यजस्व योगेन च कर्म हिन्वन्.
Yes, how you should spend your time. Katha Madiya Jushamanaha. Listen to this beautiful, soul thrilling, devotional leelas of mine. Keep in touch. And then install in you Aveshamam Atmani Santamekam. Install me in your heart. And then perform all your prarabdha karmas. Perform all your prarabdha karmas as a worship of mine. Bhogena punyam kushalena papam kalevaram kalajavena hitva. So as long as prarabdha karma is there, the body has to be there. So wait till the body drops by itself. Once the prarabdha karma is over, the body will drop by itself. So how you should do? Fixing your mind upon me. Now don't allow the agami karmas to sprout. Prarabdha karmas go through bhoga. There is no other go. Prarabdha karma you have to go through. Agami karma you can prevent by fixing the mind upon the Lord. As far as sanchita karma is concerned, it is over. Once the jivatva bhava is over, sanchita karma has no meaning. Sanchita means all those actions which are waiting to sprout. Once the ego is dead, sanchita karma has got no honor, and therefore the sanchita karma also goes away. Our Gurudev gives the example. A very great criminal, he has so many cases pending, police is in search of him, and suddenly they come to know that he has committed suicide. So what happens to all the cases, pending cases? They have to close all the files, isn't it? Because the fellow is dead. Whom will they punish then? In the same way, with this devotion, with the with the knowledge, the jivatva bhava goes away, so the sanchita karma has no ownership. Nobody is there to go through the sanchita karma phala. So sanchita karma goes away. Prarabdha karma, there is no other go. As long as the body exists, one has to go through. Agami karma is also gone because of jivatva bhavanasha. So Bhagavan says, this way you live, and ultimately spreading your name and fame in all the three worlds, ultimately you will merge in me. Mameshyasi mukta sankaha. Now Prahlada says, Bhagavan, one request. What is the request? Now slowly Prahlada is asking for that boon, Bhagavan, there is one thing I want to ask from you. My dear child, what is it that you want now?
Varam varaya etatte varadeshan maheshwara yadanindat pita me tvam vidvans teja aishwaram viddhamarshashaya sakshat sarvaloka gurum prabhum bhratruhetrumusha drishti twadbhakte maichana ghavan.
Bhagavan, this boon is not for me, but it is for my father. My father, who did not know that you are the Lord of this universe. Poor fellow, he did not know who you were. He just took you as Bhratruha, as the killer of his brother, and therefore mistakenly he was entertaining animosity. He was hating you intensely, not knowing you as the Lord of the universe, as the self of all. Sarvaloka Gurum Prabhum, he did not know you as that. So in his ignorance, Yad anindat pitame, my father has insulted you, abused you, not only you, your devotee, me also. So Bhagavan, a person who insults the Lord, a person who insults his devotees, I know that he has to go through those sins can never be expiated. There are no means in the Shastras where the sins accrued through insulting Bhagwan, abusing his devotees. There are no means of expiation. So Bhagwan, it's my sincere prayer that you should forgive all his sins and make him free from all the papas. Oh, Kripana Vatsala, please do that for me. Look at this boy. He has no anger towards his father at all. Though he had gone through all this suffering, there is not even a wee bit of hatred towards his father. See the glory of Prahalad. Tasmat pita me puyeta duranta dustaradaghat. The kind of sins he has committed is not ordinary sin. So Bhagavan, your divine intervention is very much essential. So what did Bhagavan say?
त्रिसप्तभिः पिता पूतः पितृभिः सह तेनघा यत्साधुस्य गृहे जातः भवान् वै कुलपावनः.
Oh dear child Prahalada, the very fact that you are born as his son, it proves that not only he has been purified, Trisaptabhihi, 21 generations have been purified just because of your birth. So you don't have to worry at all about your father.
यत्र यत्र च मद्भक्ताः प्रशान्ता समदर्शिनः साधवः समुदाचाराः ते पूयन्त्यपि कीकटाः सर्वात्मना न हिंसन्ति भूतग्रामेषु किञ्चन उच्चावचेषु दैतेन्द्र मद्भावेन गतस्पृहाः.
Yatra yatra cha madbhaktaha, wherever my devotees are there, prashantaha, peaceful, samadarshinaha, having vision of oneness, sadhavaha, good, holy, virtuous, pure in conduct, samudacharaha, wherever such devotees are there, te puyantyapi kikataha. Wherever they stay, the entire vicinity place is purified. Even though that place may be inhabited by uncultured, wicked, cruel people, the whole place is purified by the mere presence of my devotees. What to talk of you, Prahlad? Bhavan me khalu bhaktanam sarvesham prati rupadruk. You are the very role model for all my devotees. Then what to talk of you? So therefore, okay, now do this.
Kurutvam pretakaryaani pituh putasya sarvashah madangasparshanenanga lokanyasyati suprajaha.
So now, know for sure that your father has been purified by two reasons. One reason is that you are born as his son. The second reason is he came in contact, in my divine contact. Don't forget that I have touched him. Though no doubt I have torn him apart, that's a different thing. But Mada Angas Parshena, I have touched him, no? He is purified. Not only I touched him, I looked at him also, no? The very look, the very touch has purified him. So therefore don't worry about his future, this thing. What you have to do? Kuru tvam pretakaryani. As a son, it is your responsibility to do all the pretakarya. What is pretakarya? Preta doesn't mean ghost. The one who is dead is called preta. So perform all the final rites. Whatever has to be done as a son, perform. Kurutvam pretakaryani pituh putasya sarvashah. Then what you have to do? Pitram cha sthanam atishtha. Then ascend to the throne of your father. And then mai avyeshamanaha tata kuru karmani matparaha. Perform all your actions, the duties as a king, perform it keeping me in mind as my worship, as guided by Brahma Vadibihi, as guided by the wise saints and sages. As advised by the wise saints and sages, rule the kingdom. So Prahlada did exactly what Bhagavan said.
प्रह्लादोऽपि तथा चक्रे पितुर्यत्साम्परायिकं यथाह भगवान् राजन् अभिषिक्तो द्विजोत्तमैः.
So he was done the Abhisheka by all the Brahmanas, priests. He was done the Abhisheka, and then he did all the final rites. Everything was done. Now Brahmaji saw that Bhagavan is in a good mood now. Till now he did not have the courage to go near Bhagavan. So now he found Bhagavan in a very good mood. So slowly he went near him. Brahmaji.
प्रसाद सुमुखं दृष्ट्वा ब्रह्मा नरहरिं हरिं स्तुत्वा वाग्भिः पवित्राभिः प्राह देवादिभिर्वृतः.
So Brahmaji, along with all the devatas, went near Bhagavan. And Brahmaji said, what did he say? Bhagavan, what a great thing you have done. You have killed that Hiranyakashipu. What a great thing. Great, great, great. Bhagavan. You have saved your bhakta, Prahlada. Great. Now we don't have that headache of Hiranyakashipu. Great, great, etc. I was telling. Bhagavan just turned to him seriously. Nrisimha Uvacha.
मैवं वरो सुराणां ते प्रदेयः पद्मसंभव वरः क्रूरनिसर्गाणाम् अहीनाम् अमृतं यथा.
Brahmaji, what you have done is not right. Don't give such kinds of boons to asuras. Giving such kind of terrible boons to asura is like giving amrita, ambrosia, nectar to a poisonous snake. It becomes very difficult for us to handle such situations. You don't know. Yes, Bhagavan. Sorry. I will not do it. So thus,
इत्युक्त्वा भगवान् राजन् तत्रैवान्तर्दधे हरिः अदृश्यः सर्वभूतानां पूजितः परमेष्टिना.
So all the devatas, the deities, all of them prostrated unto Bhagavan, and Bhagavan disappeared from the vision.
ततः सम्पूज्य शिरसा ववन्दे परमेष्ठिनं भवं प्रजापतीन् देवान् प्रह्लादो भगवत्कलाः.
That Prahlada then prostrated to all the great divinities present. Bhagavan Shankara was there, he prostrated unto him. Brahmaji was there, he prostrated. All the devatas, he prostrated.
ततः काव्यादिभिः सार्धं मुनिभिः कमलासनः दैत्यानां दानवानां च प्रह्लादमकरोत्पत्तिम्.
So Shukracharya, the guru of asuras, and along with all the other dignitaries, they made Prahlada the king of asura.
प्रतिनन्द्य ततो देवाः प्रयुज्य परमाशिषः स्वधामानि ययुराजन् ब्रह्माद्याः प्रतिपूजिताः.
So he prostrated unto all, and all of them showered their blessing upon Prahlada, and then all of them went back to their abode. So the story is over. So from where did we start, by the way? We started from Narada Yudhishthira Samvada, if you remember. And what was the question raised by Yudhishthira? Question raised by Yudhishthira was, how is it this Shishupala, Dantavakra, etc., in spite of hating Bhagavan, they became one with Bhagavan? I can't understand this. A hater of Bhagavan should go to hell, but they attained moksha. How is it possible? So then what was the answer given? Remember, answer given was, it doesn't matter with what attitude you approach God. What is important is how much intensity, how much single pointedness is there in your fixing the mind unto the Lord. If your mind becomes totally one pointed unto the Lord, the reasons can be any. Snehad, bhaktya, dveshat. It can be out of hatred, lust, whatever it may be. But if your mind has become one with God, you are fit to become God. Isn't it? So, in order to make that point clear, the whole story has come. Now, who has become one with God? Hiranyakashipu. He is the hero actually. No doubt Prahlada is also the hero. Prahlada also, no doubt he became one with God. Hiranyakashipu also, because of his single pointedness, he also became one with God. So therefore, Naradji said, what did he say? येनः पूर्वकृतं यत्तद् राजानः कृष्णवैरिणः जुहुस्त्वन्ते तदात्मानः कीटः पेशस्कृतो यथा. In this way, there were so many devotees who have become one with God because of various reasons, not just out of devotion. आख्यातं सर्वमेतत्ते यन्मां त्वं परिपृष्टवान् दमघोषसुतादीनां हरेः सात्म्यमपि विद्विषताम्. So whatever questions you have asked, I have answered. Now what will happen? Now what you call? Falashruti is also there. People are all waiting for Falashruti. What will happen to those who listen to this Prahlada Charitam? Prasad. य एतत् पुण्यमाख्यानं विष्णोर्वीर्योपबृंहितं कीर्तयेत् श्रद्धया श्रुत्वा कर्मपाशैर्विमुच्यते. Those people who listen carefully, with all faith, with all attention, with all devotion, whoever listens to this, chants this, what will happen to them? Karmapashaihi vimuchyate. They become free from karma pasha. What is pasha? Rope. Yeah, the bondage of karma. He becomes free. एतद्य आदिपुरुषस्य मृगेन्द्रलीलां दैतेन्द्रयूथपवधं प्रयतः पठेत दैत्यात्मजस्य च सतां प्रवरस्य पुण्यं श्रुत्वानुभावमकुतो भयमेति लोकम्. So those people who do this chanting, understanding and develops devotion for God through this Prahlada Charitam, what will happen to them? They reach to the world of fearlessness. Akuto bhayam. What is that world? Moksha. So moksha is the result. Remember, we have to study the way it has given here, not just some stories and then go. That is not the way. As it is, we have to study. Then definitely moksha is the result. So here you will find Saguna Sakara Upasana methodology given. What is Saguna Sakara Upasana? Remember, fixing the mind upon the Nirguna Nirakara is difficult. Kleshodhikarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. Bhagavan himself has said it is difficult. So this becomes a means to do Saguna Sakara Upasana. Now a question. Upasanena dash. What nivrittihi? Vikshepa. Isn't it? Yes. So this episode is for that Vikshepa nivritti. What is Vikshepa? Wandering of the mind is called Vikshepa. So now what you do? Through this story, you give a channel for the mind. So you just say, I will meditate only upon this Leela of Bhagavan in this episode. So you allow freedom to mind, no doubt, but at the same time, in a limited region. Only this. Mind is not yet fit to become single pointed unto the Lord, so you give a freedom for the mind to wander around. This is what you have to do in Saguna Sakara Upasana. Sakara means Bhagavan with form. Now here the form is Narasimha Bhagavan. Saguna, his virtues. Virtues of Bhagavan, virtues of Bhakta, both are same. So you meditate upon only those aspects. So you give freedom. Slowly what happens? The mind develops devotion. Mind develops virtues. Mind becomes pure. And slowly, you limit the freedom. And a time comes when you don't have to remember the stories, Leelas, but the very utterance of Bhagavan's name takes you to very high stage. gives concentration, gives purity. That mind becomes single pointed just by that japa of the name. Then only you are fit to do the nirguna nirakara dhyana. Otherwise, it's not possible. Fixing the attention upon the self or consciousness is very difficult unless you have prepared your mind stage by stage like this. That is why in these Puranas, this you need material for upasana, isn't it? Purana provides the material. Understand this. So you must have very clear understanding of which sadhana will take you where. Otherwise, people are totally confused. Here it is said like this, here it is said like that. I am totally confused. Don't have all this kind of thing. There is a purpose for everything. Understand the purpose, use it, grow out of it. Go through it, grow out. Okay? So this is the purpose of our studies. Even otherwise, you will find the great saints dwelling in these stories. Though they have reached the other side, they love this. As Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says to say, I don't want to become sugar, I want to become ant, to taste the sugar, isn't it? So therefore, devotees sometimes, they come out of this Advaita Bhavana, become a Dvaiti, keep Bhagavan separate and enjoy Bhagavan. So for all that, this story can be used. Okay. Right. So I sincerely invoke the blessings of Narasimha Bhagavan and Prahlad Ji and our Puja Gurudev. May we develop this kind of devotion. बोलिए श्री नरसिम्हा भगवान की, बोलिए श्री महाभागवत प्रहलाद की जय, बोलिए सब संतन की। ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।